I am here with Cyrus from Antique Saws. He's an exhibitor, and he has a business called Johnston Performance Saws, right?
Johnston Performance Chainsaws.
Here, I'm going to show you guys a close-up so you can see here, if you guys are interested in performance saws. And you guys do custom stuff, right?
Yes, I do.
So, how did you get into this?
I'm just a love of two strokes. A chainsaw is the most powerful thing that you can hold in your hands.
Yeah, it's like holding a motorcycle. I call them a hand crotch rocket.
That's right.
And you got some fast stuff here. You got hot saws.
Yes, I do.
So let's start with kind of like your basic one. What do you got that's kind of basic, and then go from there?
Well, I mean, I build a lot of 500 eyes.
And that's what everybody wants to know.
That's what everybody wants. And it's a hot woods ported saw.
So what'd you do to it?
So it's a fully machined cylinder, fully ported. The muffler's modified, and it runs about 9.5 horsepower.
And what do they stock?
Stock, I believe that's 6.9.
Oh, around 7. That's what I thought.
Yeah, it's right around 7.
And what does it cost to get one totally done?
$1,000.
So basically double the price.
Yep.
Yeah,
double the price.
And they're a little louder.
Yep, it's much louder.
I know.
You know, this is just an extra port on a stock muffler, but there's aftermarket accessories available, which I'm sure you know of. And
sure. So is this like the #1 thing that you are doing?
Yeah, logging.
Do you do a lot of Husqvarna too? I see.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
So
I do a lot of 562s, a lot of 572s.
Yep. Well, those are the #1 selling saws for Husqvarna. The 562s and the 572. I have 3 572s. Love them.
Yeah, I love them too.
Did you ever do a 395 or 595 yet? Or 592, I should say.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What is that?
Do a lot of them.
What do you get out of that then?
They're over 10 horse.
Yeah, yeah. Well, they're nice the way they are.
Yes, they are.
They're out of the box. They're pretty dang nice. Yeah. They're fast. They're loud. But so, how much improvement are you getting? 10%? 20%?
You know, I've never put my saws on the dyno per se, but you know, if you compare that stock to what that is, it's over 50% gain in the cut.
Kidding. Holy smokes. I didn't realize that much. I thought you get like 20%.
No, not with a fully machined and ported cylinder. If it's just ported, no machine work, that's like a 20% gain.
Maybe that's what I've heard in the past. That's
right.
What I've heard. Interesting. About the same price to do a 562 or a 592 as the 500 still. What do you do the most of? Is the 500s?
Yeah, I do a lot of a bunch of saws.
And what kind of turnaround if a guy sends you one? Or do they just say buy one and do it for me and then
you buy it and send it to me, and right now it's about a 2 month.
2 months?
2 month turnaround.
How long does it take you to do one?
I generally have about 12 hours into the saw.
Awesome. And how much in parts? Now, are you making your own parts? Are you buying custom stuff? What are you doing?
Just all the parts, original parts. Unless you want a muffler, if you an aftermarket muffler like a Bark Box is under $100 shipped.
And our guys changing out their dogs too then?
Yeah, there's aftermarket dogs, and they're generally $65. So you know, whatever parts you want put on it, but to actually just port the saw, it doesn't need any parts if it's a brand new saw.
Well, your smaller saws like the 562, 572, their dogs aren't great, I don't think. You know, out of the box. But the 592 and the 500 both have really nice dogs right away, I think.
I agree.
Pretty darn nice.
I agree.
But that's just what I've noticed. So, hey, you got a YouTube channel too. Look at that.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice that. We'll have to check you guys out. Well, show me some of the other saws you got here, like some of your specialty ones here.
Well, this is a Johnston 80, and it runs on 15% nitromethane, 85% methanol.
So in other words, it's a screamer.
Yeah, it's a screamer, and this was a restore job for me. I bought this from a retired Johnston dealer out of Lower Michigan, and this saw was built in 1980 by another builder. And when I got it, a little over a year ago, it sat on a shelf for over 20 years. So
before anything happened to it.
Yeah, and then I went through it and kind of bring it back to life to bring the shows like this and show what, you know, a vintage race saw was.
So out of all the saws that you have and run, what's like your number one favorite? Is there one that stands out?
Not really. I really like them all. You know,
is there any that you hate?
No, you know, I don't hate any of them either. Like, we got some odd saws that aren't here right now, like an 820 West Bend. We got one of them that's ported. That's an old cart engine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, they're all fun, you know.
Sure.
And every saw is, you know, a little different in its own regards, you know.
Right, right. Well, show me some of the other ones you got here. What else you got?
We have a modified 372.
Oh, and it's a G with heated handlebars.
Yeah, this is a heated handlebar. This is actually a logger's saw. Yep. He wanted it built. He says, build me a play toy, you know, something I could take out on the weekends from my buddies. Yeah. I'm like, well, what do you got we could start with? He's like, well, I got this 372 XPG, so that's what he sent me. And
yeah, a lot of loggers have the 372s. Yeah. That's like the go-to saw for a lot of loggers.
We modified it, and it has a Wisco Racing piston on it. It has the West Coast dogs, and
yeah,
you know, so it's not a full-blown race saw because it needs to be dependable for someone who doesn't race, you know.
Right, you don't want to blow it up.
Right, right. Like, the nitro saw is way hotter, and then we got a 1979 John Surratt 910 with a modified dirt bike pipe on it that runs pretty good.
Nice.
We got a 394 on the ground here.
That's an old one.
That's a fully ported saw too. This is a 98.
Yeah. I've got a 3120 that's I think a 98, right in that range there.
Yeah.
And a guy bought it and he was gonna do stuff to it, and I just put a great big bar, 5-6 foot bar on it just for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a beast. Yeah. 42 pounds.
Nice, nice.
Yeah. It's a beast. What do you got here?
And then we got a 661 with
that's a nice 661 is a nice one right out of the box too, I think.
And then over on the log I got my 084.
Let's check that out. So what year is the 084? I'm not familiar with that one. I know it's old.
It come out in 85.
85, okay.
What year that one actually is, I'm not sure. It was a newer version of it because this one originally came with the limited coil, and it's been swapped to the unlimited coil now.
Yeah, it says 1985 on it. Right there. So it's an 85 probably, unless you swapped parts out.
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah, it's always in the fine print you can see.
You never know what somebody did to these old ones.
Yeah, well, a lot of the old ones too, they're 5 saws to make one. They take all the parts because stuff breaks on, you know, the recoils break, and you know how it is. Stuff's happening all the time.
Yeah, because when I got that saw, I bought 2 of them and they both were blown up.
Oh, okay. And what do you got here? This thing's kind of cool looking.
That's not my saw, but that's a Super XL with a bull bar on it.
Nice. So it's called a bull bar, huh?
A bull
bar, got it.
It's made for bucking logs.
Really?
And as long as the log fits inside of here, the chain only goes through the log one time and you can pull it out without pinching.
Right.
And then it was for standing up and bucking firewood.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just ran it.
I see. So sized logs, in other words, the cult, so you pull your sizes.
Yeah, and they make them much larger bull bars like that.
So what's the hardest thing with a lot of the old saws like this? Just finding the chains that work, or bars, or just finding parts, or you just make parts?
Yeah, you just gotta. There are a lot of retired dealers that have oodles of parts.
Yeah.
And there are guys who do nothing but search around the country to find retired dealerships and buy their stock.
Right.
And then they have museums and they have parts galore.
Yeah, I've seen some guys on YouTube that have the museum. There's that guy that has everything chainsaws, and he's got tons of stuff. It's just amazing what some of the guys have.
Yeah.
And they're rebuilding. Some of the guys like to own it and look at it on a shelf. I'm the opposite. I want to use it, abuse it.
Exactly.
I want to run it. That's what I like doing. I like the running of it. And some of the old stuff is cool, but I'm not a mechanic. I just want it to work.
Yeah. When you're playing with the old stuff, like from the 60s and older, you open them up and you never know what you're gonna find. You don't know what somebody else did to that saw, and you know, it's good to find them in that kind of condition that somebody took care of it and it runs, you know.
Right. What's like the holy grail saw you're looking for? Something that's old that you want?
I got it.
So
it's a 084.
That's it, huh? That's the one.
For me, that's the one.
So what is this? What's it worth? I have no clue what it would be worth.
You know, it's worth what the guy's willing to pay for it. You know, if you look on eBay, and I don't say that that's a good place to look, but they're on there for, you know, 2,500-ish. I don't know if they're selling, but
no, probably not, But that's.
But I wouldn't take $3,000 for that saw because that's the saw I want. You know,
that's what it's worth.
And I wouldn't take that. You know.
Yeah. Nice.
So
you
for
said
me,
you have two of them.
Yeah, the other one's in parts yet, so I bought two of them blowing up, and I got one out of it.
So if a guy cans you and says, "I'll give you $4,000," would you take it?
No. It took me too long to get that saw at a price I was willing to pay.
So what is your? I'm not saying I want to buy it, but is there a number?
No, I wouldn't sell that.
That says a lot. That says a lot. That says a lot. That's good to know. That's good. That's good to know. Yeah, because there's certain things, like you say, you worked hard to get it, worked a long time. Yeah. And that's your baby.
Yeah, and I got a lot of hours into that.
Well, there's guys like that with cars. You know, they might have $10,000 into a car they bought, and then stick another 10 in customizing it. And so they say they got, you know, 20,000 into it, but they wouldn't sell it for 50 because it's their baby.
And you can't ever get that time back. You know.
No.
So one thing you can never get more of is time. And once you spent that time on something, money can't buy my time out of that saw.
I always say you can make more money, you can't make more time.
Yeah.
So do what you like to do. And people sometimes will say to me, "Oh, why do you spend all the time cutting firewood?" Because I like it.
Yeah.
That's what I like to do. Some guys wait their whole life to get to 65, 70 to retire and then do what they want to do, but they can't because they're too old.
Yeah.
I just do what I want now.
I'm the same way, you know.
How old are you?
I'm 43.
Just a baby.
Yeah, I am. I'm a youngin', but you know, like I worked hard, and my hobby is my job, and I get to do my hobby every day.
So you do this full time?
Full time.
Awesome,
I do this full time.
So where's your place at?
Menominee, Michigan, 1 hour south of where we're standing right now.
We have to get together. So I got to come to your shop sometime and do some videos. That'd be awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. So anyway, it's Cyrus from Johnston.
Yep.
Saws, check them out. So if you like what you see here, folks, watch some more videos. I have 1,200 on my channel waiting for you. I'll be here again tomorrow morning, 5:30 a.m. Good night, Irene. First of all, I got to ask you, is this legal to have steel chaps and a Husqvarna hat on? Is that legal?
Yes, it is, and I'll tell you why. Because I went down to the Husqvarna booth, and I asked those guys, "Do you want to run a couple ported Huskies?" And they were like, "Absolutely, bring them down." So I went down there, let them run my saws, and they gave me the hat.
There you go.
And I actually won these chaps at a chainsaw competition on the 4th of July.
There you go.
So
yeah, I'm non-denominational. I don't care.
No, I don't either.
So what are you going to run first?
We'll run the 500i.
Okay.
I'll actually go get the 394 so we keep it non-denominational.
Okay.
We won't run all steels, but then we'll run that 660.
Sure.
And we'll run a Husky then.
Okay.
this one?
660.
That runs good. I like that song.
You could feel the ground shake with that song.
Yeah, she's loud. I'll grab a Husky and we'll run that too.
So what do you got here? A Husky what?
394.
394. It's be all right. They all cut.
Yeah, they do.
That was a ripper.
1979, 910 John Surratt.
I was 17 years old, high school senior when that came out. My dad had one.
I wasn't born until the next year.
Yeah,
but this is what my dad cut firewood
my dad too.
with. John Surratt.
My dad had this almost, I think it's the same saw. He had two different ones. He had a McCulloch's before that, and then he had the John Surratts, and then he switched to Husqvarna.
Nice.
And then I stuck with Husqvarna because that's what he had.
Yeah.
My brother could get them, so that's the way I started running. But I've run a lot of stills too. I don't care.
Yeah, I run them all.
My favorite saw is the one that's running good and sharp.
Yeah, exactly. You got that.
Oh yeah. I think you just set a world record.
That's cool.